Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another interview here at Macabre Daily. My name is Matt Orozco, and I am extremely grateful and fortunate to be joined with Jalmari Helander, who is the writer and director of Sisu, which is arriving in theaters this Friday, April 28th, from Lionsgate. So thank you so much, Jalmari, for being here with us today.
Yes, definitely.
Well, Jalmari, we'll get right into it because I know we have a limited amount of time. Here at Macabre Daily, really enjoyed Sisu. Love to see some action exploitation kind of making its way back into theaters. Just having a good old time with a lot of broken bones and bloodletting abound. And I was wondering, when you were writing and directing the film, coming up with the concepts especially, what were some of the narrative and aesthetic inspirations that you used to kind of infuse into the film?
First blood here in the background is one of the biggest things that really started it all for me. And I have been wanting to do my own Rambo since I was 10 or something. So it's been a long road with getting to this point, because in Finland, basically, we don't have any kind of tradition of making any kind of action films, basically. So I'm the first one. But it's really good to be here now, because I really had a good time with Sisu, and I hope that it goes well in theaters in the US also.
That's interesting. I did not know that this was one of the first action films to come out of Finland. Why do you think that is, that it hasn't been a source of a lot of action films in the past?
Well, it's because of I think it's money issue in a way, because in Finland we only have like 5 million people. So when you're doing a Finnish language film, you don't get enough money, basically. There's no point of using that much money because action film is always more expensive to make. So I think that's one of the big reasons.
Yeah, I can definitely see the spectacle of action costing a bit more than, let's say, like a small horror movie would, or even like a small kind of drama might. And I know some of your previous films, for example, Rare Exports, was actually based on a series of short films. And you just mentioned that, you've wanted to make your own Rambo since you were around 10 years old. So is Sisu the idea, is kind of this core concept and the character you come up with? Did you come up with that at 10 years of age, or is this something that came to fruition much later in life? And how did you get there?
Well, I've done a lot of like action short films, also with the same actor before I even made Rare Exports short films. So I have tried it a couple of times, and but I think I needed to have like because I think the more simple idea you have for an action film, the better the film is, and the most simple ideas are basically the hardest to have, because like afterwards it feels really easy, like to have a guy who finds a lot of gold in Lapland and tries to take it to the bank, but he meets a group of Nazis. Like, it's not that hard to think about something like that in a way, but at the same time that's really hard. and when I had that idea, it took me something like a minute to understand that, okay, this is it. We're gonna do something like this next.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's that at a very high level, the idea doesn't sound so complicated, but what it's really about is how do you make that consistently entertaining for something like 96 minutes, right? And ensure that your foot doesn't take too much off the gas, so that way people are still engaged. You can continue that momentum that action films typically build up on. So I totally agree that the simplest things are the most difficult. And that's why when they're done really well, they tend to shine brighter than some of the more complex things. And I was curious to know, around the idea for basing it in World War II, was there anything else behind that idea aside from just, having the ability to take down Nazis, or was there more to it than that?
I think it's a combination of course, having the Nazis in it, because it's somehow is like very good, like cinematic villain to have, like, but also also the setting of them burning and destroying the whole Lapland, it gives you a interesting environment to build on, like that everything is destroyed and there are mines and there are all kinds of danger and basically no one to help you if you need help. I think it's a combination of those two things.
Yeah, there's definitely a futility to the environment, but there's also a beauty to it as well. You know, I think as I was watching it, I've never been to Finland, so seeing Lapland is something that I may not have come across any other way. And it gives off a very kind of Western, but with a bit more lush greenery. So I really I think you captured quite a bit of the aesthetic of some of the Sergio Leone spaghetti Western films with the lush landscapes and kind of the solitary hero against a insurmountable odds to some extent. And it brings me to my next question around, you know, when you think about the production process, what were some of the most challenging things you experienced? And then what are some of the most rewarding things you got out of it?
Well, I think the whole job to get everything up there, because it's far away, it's northest place in Finland you can go, to get everyone and basically everything, the tank and everything, the cranes and all the movie equipment and all that to that location was a big deal, and the reward came just after that, when basically I was there on location, standing there, seeing the tank, the trucks, the motorcycle, the Nazis with their dirty uniforms on, with the weapons, and Atami on top of the horse, and it all was there. That was so rewarding to me, because I, of course, was thinking a lot of it beforehand, and how will it look, and how cool would it be to have everything like that there, and when it finally was there, that was really like a really big moment for me.
Yeah, I can only imagine that 10-year-old Jalmari was like, this is exactly what I had in mind, and maybe even more so, that I have a real size tank here and I've got people in full SS uniforms that really look like bad guys. You know, there's nothing endearing about any of the antagonists here. And I guess my last question for you is, you know, let's say you're programming a double feature to go up again, you know, with Sisu. What's the movie you're putting on before to get people ready or excited to go in line with it?
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a tough one. I don't want to say First Blood because that's so obvious. I don't know. The first Mad Max or something.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I think a lot of the films that, and you talked about First Blood, but any of the Rambo films basically is a good lead in into this one. Albeit the first one has a bit more of that single guy against kind of a smaller militia. But I personally, from us at Macabre Daily, we enjoyed the film immensely. We hope everyone goes out to see it on Friday, April 28th. And again, Jalmari, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the film. And we hope that this gets enough attention so that we can see a Sisu 2 and see Antami coming back to take down some other really nasty bad guys.
Like Russians.
Yeah, yeah. You could just line up any sort of militia and he can take them down. So thank you so much, Jalmari, and good luck with the rest of the conversations you're having today.
Thank you.